And besides, Mrs. Fallowitz has never seen a science fiction movie before.
You know, it's getting harder and harder to ignore how little truly original science fiction is making it to theaters lately, with studios leaning heavily on sequels, reboots, and sci-fi Ps instead of taking risks on new ideas. Even when something original does slip through the cracks, like last year's Mickey 17, it doesn't exactly inspire confidence in the genre's future. Despite the pedigree and ambition behind that movie, it stumbled both critically and commercially, reinforcing the industry's fear that audiences won't show up for unfamiliar stories. The result is a bit of a vicious cycle. Studios won't fund bold sci-fi because it's too risky, and audiences rarely get the chance to prove otherwise, leaving the genre stuck recycling the same worlds instead of imagining new ones. This past weekend, however, gave us the release of Project Hail Mary, a new sci-fi film. So what do we have here? Does Project Hail Mary buck the recent trend and give us quality and successful new sci-fi? Or is it yet another stumble and fall? Well, before we answer that, let's talk a little bit about the plot for the film Project Hail Mary.
I want to talk to you.
Project Hail Mary follows Rylan Grace, a middle school science teacher who wakes up alone on a spaceship with no memory of who he is or why he's there. You know, basically the worst possible version of I just woke up from a nap. As his memories slowly return, he realizes he's humanity's last hope to stop a mysterious cosmic threat that's dimming the sun. You know, no pressure. Along the way, he encounters an unexpected alien who becomes his ally. He names the alien Rocky. His species is facing the same extinction level event, and together, they both must overcome their language barrier and learn to work together in order to save both species.
That sounds intriguing.
So what works in this film? Well, Ryan Gosling, he delivers one of the most engaging performances of his career, which is saying something because I think he's excellent. He carries huge stretches of the film, essentially by himself, talking to computers, scientific printouts, and at some points even questioning his own sanity. And somehow makes it all compelling. He balances humor, panic, intelligence, and vulnerability so naturally that you forget you're watching a guy essentially doing interstellar homeschooling. But the real scene stealer is Rocky. Voiced by James Ortiz, this character is nothing short of extraordinary and nothing that we've ever seen before in any film like this. Despite being quite literally a rock-like alien, Rocky becomes one of the most expressive and emotionally resonant characters in the film. The way Rocky and Grace build their relationship through math, sound, and shared problem solving is both fascinating and weirdly wholesome. Their chemistry is incredible, and the film somehow convinces you to emotionally invest in what is essentially a sentient space mineral. And it works.
He's so cool.
Visually, the film is stunning. The cinematography captures both the isolation of deep space and the awe of discovery with equal precision. Equal parts, this is beautiful and I never want to be here. Directors Phil Lord and Christopher Miller bring a sharp sense of pacing and tone, blending humor with existential dread in a way that feels effortless. The mix of CGI and practical effects is seamless. Nothing feels overly artificial, and everything has a tangible weight, which is impressive considering half the movie involves things that absolutely do not exist. What doesn't work in this film, however, is it is a bit long. And while when the pacing is on, it's really on. When it's off, it's really noticeable. Some of the memory recovery sequences drag a bit, feeling less like gripping revelations and more like your brain buffering or slow Wi-Fi. However, it never derails the film. By the end, Project Hail Mary stands as one of the best films I've seen in a long time. It's smart, heartfelt, visually striking, and anchored by performances, human and rock-based, that stick with you long after the credits roll. Honestly, if this movie doesn't make you care about a rock, I don't know what will. I cannot praise this movie enough, and I cannot recommend it enough. See it on the big screen. Thankfully, its first weekend looks very successful, and it has tremendous word of mouth. So I think that this movie is going to be a massive success. And I can honestly, even though it's only March, see this movie at or near the top of my best films of 2026 list.
That was incredible!
Well, that's all I have for you this week. Tune in next week where I give you my thoughts and feelings on whatever I've seen. In the meantime, click that like button, subscribe, leave a comment or a question, share this video with friends and enemies alike, and as always, thank you for giving me your valuable time, and I'll see you next week. Take care.